Remember when you were making out with your first girlfriend, and you came right as she touched your leg? It was me, Barry. I jerked you off at super speed so it'd seem like you nutted at just a woman's touch!
The comic opens up with a narration from Tempest Fujinat, who seems to be the Uatu of the DC universe. Just like in Marvel, they've Uatu the Uatu, who chronicles the events that happens in alternate timeline.
Where a single choice can branch out into infinite realities, creating alternate worlds from the ones you know. I am the Watcher. I am your guide through these vast new realities.
DC has their own version, but he is looking at worlds from the Dark Multiverse, the opposite of the main DC universe. So it's like a coin. The DC universe is one side of the coin, the good side where everything good is. Then on the opposite side of the coin, we have the Dark Multiverse where everything bad is yet to happen or has already happened. This time we are covering the dark twisted version of the already dark and twisted storyline that is called the Flashpoint Paradox. For anyone who's seen the CW Flash TV show or has watched the Flashpoint Paradox animated movie knows that things are about to get messy, things are about to get nasty, and we are on the road to talk about them. So what happens in this timeline is that Barry went back in time and stopped the Red Flash, his arch nemesis, from killing his mother. In doing so, it created this alternate timeline that was really scooped up. For example, the Justice League was never formed in this timeline. Superman was taken by the government as soon as his pod landed on Earth. They kept him 100 feet underground, running experiments on him like a lab rat. So in Batman's origin, the way he became Batman was that his parents were gunned down in an alleyway after they came in Gotham from seeing the movie. They were gunned down by this guy named Joe Chill, who shot his parents and left him alive. And then he grew up training and then became the Batman. But in this storyline, Bruce is the one who died. And in doing so, it broke Bruce's parents that Martha Wayne was turned into the Joker and Thomas Wayne was turned into Batman. A Batman who likes to use guns, if I say so myself. He is the coolest Batman in my case. If a guy just doesn't want to comply, shoot him in his head. It's done. We never have to deal with him again. The Amazon and the Atlanteans are at war because Wonder Woman killed Mira, the wife of Aquaman, as she and Arthur were having an affair behind Mira's back.
NANI?!
So when Mira found out and confronted Wonder Woman killed Mira and thus sprang World War III. Look at that. Woman causing world wars all over again. We are just repeating history. And now it is World War III and the world is about to destroy itself and it is all Barry's fault. So Barry heads to the Wayne Manor to find Batman to help him get his powers back. And you know how he does this? By strapping himself into a chair surrounded by lab chemicals and getting struck by lightning twice. So the first time they try this, it doesn't work and it leaves Barry burnt and bandaged all over. But the second time does, restoring Barry's powers back to him. He then runs back in time, stops himself from making the terrible mistake that is saving his mother from a vicious killer. However, this story takes a very wild turn of events as it throws everything you know about this story into an oven, cooks it for 1 hour and a half, and brings out a very terrifying story. Amazing writing from Brian Hitch that captures this story with its amazing dialogue, and we get to see how twisted and sadistic the mind of Eobard Thawne really is. Now people, I'm not going to go into deep explanation on what makes Eobard Thawne tick, but I am preparing another video for him alone as he is a truly complex lunatic that deserves his own video. Eobard Thawne is a scientist from the 25th century in the future who was obsessed with the Speed Force and the Flash. To get the Flash's powers, he recreated the event that gave the Flash his powers, and then he went back in time to try and get the approval of Barry Allen since he was a big fan of the Flash. But when he got back in time, that's when he saw that the Flash had already taken a student from himself in the form of Wally West. This enraged Eobard Thawne to the point that it broke his mind, and then he discovered that his only true purpose in life is to bring Barry Allen hell on earth. So the funny thing about the relationship between these two guys is that they cannot kill each other. The Reverse Flash cannot be killed since he is a time paradox. Without him, Barry could never become the Flash, and without Barry, his timeline will cease to exist and he himself will just dissipate into thin air. And I know most of you are asking this question of why he is still alive in this timeline since Barry is dead, and the answer I have for you is plot armor. In this act, what really interests me was the conversation that Eobard Thawne had with the dead corpse of Barry. He illustrated that Barry was his anchor, Barry was his purpose in life, as they were enemies that could never kill each other. He points out that he is the stepping stone in Barry's life, as he's the one who had molded Barry's life from the time that his mother died at 9 years old and his father was blamed for her murder. He says he was the reason Barry became what he is today, a hero who protects those who cannot protect themselves. And he takes Barry's Flash ring as a badge of honor to remind himself of his new purpose and his new life without the Flash in it to always ruin it. But before anything else can happen, Batman attacks the Reverse Flash, which is a stupid dumb idea. How are you going to attack someone who can run faster than the speed of sound? That's a dumb idea to all the Batman. And the Batman is handled with the quickness. It doesn't even take him a few seconds. When the Reverse Flash touches the Batman, that's when he realizes that he is in a different timeline, that this is not the main DC timeline. He learns of the promise that Barry and Thomas Wayne had made it to each other to return the timeline to normal and save his son from the impending demise that happened in the alleyway. This is when Eobard realizes that this world is a free world. It is his gold mine, and there is no one powerful enough to step on his reign of terror. He races off, leaving Thomas Wayne to tend to his wounds as he fabricates a plan to take over this new world for himself.
Her hero. How noble. Oh, wait. You didn't stop JFK from getting assassinated, or make sure Hitler stayed in art school. You saved your mommy. You missed her. And in a supreme act of selfishness, shattered history like a rank amateur.
Next panel, we pick up with Cyborg in the White House, who seems to be the Superman X-figure of this earth, as their Superman is locked up in a dungeon somewhere in a rogue United States government basement. He had gathered a small group of individuals that could help the human race save itself from the coming war of the Atlanteans and the Amazons. We see some notable characters here, as we see Green Lantern Sinestro before he became evil, or on the contrary, he was always evil. We have Captain Cold, we have Green Arrow, we have the Enchantress sitting on the couch. As they are making preparations on how they're gonna handle the Atlantean Amazon situation, the Reverse Flash comes in out of nowhere and starts taking lives like it's a Mortal Kombat finale round. So he comes in and kicks Cyborg out of the Oval Office, vibrates a hand through Green Arrow's head, vibrates another hand through Captain Cold's chest, punches half of Sinestro's face off his face, and accelerates the aging process of the Enchantress that in a few seconds is just a pile of bones and dust. Now he faces the US president, who is a total bitch by the way. He tells him to give him power over America, that he wants to own the United States of America, but you will allow the president to run the country. This is an awesome way of capturing power without actually fighting. So Cyborg comes too. So when he calls for backup, he realizes that all the soldiers that were around the White House all being killed by the Reverse Flash. He comes in running with sonic guns attacking the Reverse Flash, but Eobard Thawne can move 14 times faster than the speed of sound, and I repeat, 14 times faster than the speed of sound, and he turns in and atomizes Cyborg in his entirety. Nothing is left. He forces the president to hold a press conference to solidify himself as the savior of the free world, as he promises the people of the USA that he is gonna protect them from the Amazon and the Atlantean invasion.
Hello, Barry. Thawne. I love what you've done with the place. This is all your fault!
So the Reverse Flash has a knack of placing himself in the minds of other people to trying to get those people obsessed over him, or he will be the one getting obsessed over them, as we see in this scene when he goes to visit the Batman in the Batcave. Thomas Wayne was just dropping a call with Cyborg, who is alive because he backed up his brain in a mainframe somewhere and was formulating a plan B with the master tactician on how they were gonna take the Reverse Flash down and win the war against the Amazons and the Atlanteans. So Thorne makes himself known as such, dissecting the mind of Thomas Wayne on a psychological level. His stance is that Barry used hope to rally people to his cause, to be the hero amongst everyday people. Hope is selfish, he says. To get what we truly want in this life means that others have to pay the price for those hopes and dreams. As he puts it, he is like the finest stitching of an exquisite tapestry of quantum possibilities. In simple terms for you simpletons out there, that he works like a professional. He knows what he's doing. He is the only one who can travel back and forth through time, killing anybody he wants without affecting the timeline, i.e. the killing of Barry's mom. Of course, the death of Barry's mom is now a fixed point in time, but he is telling the truth. He can't do this without affecting the timeline, as we saw from the Flash TV series, The Reverse Flashpoint. This flashpoint where everything was reversed and he was the Flash and the Flash was the Reverse Flash. I know it's confusing, just watch the TV show. I know he started getting bad after season 5, everybody knows this, it's now whack. Here, but Thorne can move through the timeline without affecting it, unlike Barry, who tore his way through the timeline like a savage with the club, and he was nothing compared to Eobard Thawne, as he says himself. He admits at first that all he wanted to be in the first time when he got his powers was to be like Barry Allen. But when he then found out what kind of a person Barry was, he switched and he took on his persona of this ravaging, angry speedster who always wants to come out and kill Barry Allen and makes his life a living hell. However, Thomas Wayne pulls out the doctor card on the Reverse Flash and assesses the situation. He assesses that without Barry in his life, he doesn't have a reason to exist. He may be the most dangerous person in the world today, but without Barry in his life, he doesn't have a reasoning to go on, because all he had was his hatred towards Barry Allen, and without that, he is nothing. This is when we discover the whole notion on why the Reverse Flash came to see Batman in the beginning, that he wants to turn this Batman into his arch nemesis, as we see him prying on the mind of Thomas Wayne, telling him that he has the power to change all of this, that he has the power to change this timeline, to bring his wife back to sanity, to bring back his son from the brink of death. But he tells him that he's not going to, not because that he can't, because he chooses to, and the Batman is going to hunt him down till the end of the earth to get what he wants, because he knows he needs somebody to ground him down, and that person is going to be the Batman of this timeline. Two things are effectively happening right now. The first is that Cyborg and Batman are making their way down this government underground cellar looking for their plan B in the form of Superman. Batman even cracks a joke on how Cyborg now is no longer a cyborg, since a cyborg consists of half human, half robot, and now since his human body is dead, he's now just the robot man. Victor does say just calls me Victor, as his humanity is still intact even though his human body is gone. And two, the Reverse Flash is going on a world tour, killing a whole lot of Atlanteans, including Aquaman, and then bringing his body to the Amazons as a warning to not even step near his territory of the United States of America. He approaches this merry band of war-hardened Amazons to surrender or die. And well, if anybody knows Wonder Woman, this is gonna end well. This is gonna end spectacularly. On the next panel, we see that a bunch of Atlantean ships have come near the northern coast of America, and they're just standing in the river like they are waiting for an order. As the Reverse Flash is watching this, and then boom! Superman comes out of nowhere, ramming Reverse Flash, hitting him with a spear. The Reverse Flash manages to get loose and start using the rock formations against Superman, because he knows that one hit from the Kryptonian will pulverize him. But he seems to be winning the match against Superman, and then his heat vision comes in and counters his attacks with this rock formation. He tries split beating Superman with a bunch of speed mirages, but Superman is like, try running in this guy, as he punches him into mid-air, plumbing into him like a rag doll. They land back on the ground as Cyborg uses these mega big sonics just in time to stop the Reverse Flash in his tracks, and then he makes him go to sleep. I can't even pronounce that word. Incapitate. Motherfucker. the plan is going great, and the plan is going great, and as they are just about to apprehend the Reverse Flash, Batman pulls out the biggest machine guns I have ever seen and starts shooting at the Reverse Flash. He takes down Cyborg with a virus that temporarily incapacitates him. Yes, I got it! That temporarily incapacitates him. Then he walks towards the Reverse Flash and Superman. He tells Superman to keep his eye on the Reverse Flash and never let him out of his sight. And as Superman does, as the loyal dog he is, Batman empties a kryptonite bullet inside the brain of the Superman.
You'd be amazed the monsters this world can create.
We have to stop this, Dr. Wayne. Catch Thawne, find out what he changed, and change it back before Aquaman and Wonder Woman kill everyone on the planet.
Not saying I believe you, but in your reality, is my son.
Bruce is alive. He's Batman.
Stands on the matter is that he doesn't care. He doesn't care if he kills Superman. He doesn't care if the war goes on. He doesn't care if the world burns, as long as he gets his son back. As long as he gets to hold him one time, tell him he loves him, even if he dies, as long as his son can carry on his legacy. And he is going to force the Reverse Flash into a corner where he has no choice but to fix the broken world as it is. The Reverse Flash is going through a crisis of his own in his head when he was saved by Superman. He felt hope. He finally knew what hope was and how it affected people, how it infects them and outcomes happiness, love, and loyalty. He felt it from Superman when he saved him, but when Superman died, he felt that the hope of the world died with him. He was so blinded by the game he used to play with Barry Allen for centuries that it blinded him from seeing a future, forging his own life without the influence of the Flash. So as the Reverse Flash ponders on this question of hope, this group is suddenly set upon by a combined group of the Atlanteans and the Amazons who have partnered in alliance against the Reverse Flash because he is a menace to society and he is the only one who can stand in their way. Oh yeah! So they had taken the Reverse Flash's words to heart when he said that the old gods were dead, and they had devised a plan with the new gods. As everybody hears a boom that comes from a distance, the sound of a boom tube, and when there's a boom tube, there's always dark side. And outside this boom tube comes out the planet of Apocalypse. And instead of seeing the dark side of this reality, Big Brother is the dark side of this reality and the leader of Apocalypse, as they have come on the side of the Amazon Atlantean Alliance. This was Batman's plan all along from the start, to take away the hope that was left in this world, to unite the enemies of the USA against them and force the hand of the man who can turn back time and save his family from their impending doom. And the Reverse Flash does. And he does this not just because he has to, but because he has found a reason to live in a world without Barry, in a world that is his to rule, an earth in a constant flux of motion. His word, his vision of perfection is on the Reverse Flashpoint. As he runs back in time to fix this world, his negative speed force clouds this earth, it clouds the universe and all his changes from the Watcher. I mean the Tempest. And he breathes out a new reality, one that the Tempest cannot see, where he saves the entire Wayne family from dying at the hands of Joe Chill in that alleyway, where his vision, his new brave world, reversed in his own image.